Marcel, we're a little
Sorry,
more,
my bad.
oh, you're all right. Thanks to Marcel, we're a little more organized here than we normally are. We got an outline and slides and all those things. So, Marcel's done a lot to help us out here with this. So,
Yeah, I want to
Let's
say
go.
yeah, go ahead.
I want to say I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks, Marcel, for helping us and the Freedom Chasers. You guys are awesome. Just feel free to put your stuff in the chat so everybody can find you. And also, our next Zoom meeting will be on the 11th of January. So we won't see you guys till New Year. This is our last one for this year. And we have a Q&A. We have a Q&A section at the end. If everybody would like to hold their questions till the end, that would be great. You can raise your digital hand or you can put the questions in the chat and one of us will read it out for Jerry to answer. And that's it. Back to you, Jerry.
All right, great.
I want to share my screen.
Yep, go ahead.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yep, we got it.
Awesome. Let's go.
All right. So I'm Jerry Miles, and you was just hearing from my wife, Shelly, and our son, JJ, is also on here. And so we'll give him a chance to talk here in a minute as well. But tonight's agenda, do a little bit of an introduction. We'll talk about, kind of the state of lending in general and what's going on in the market. And then we're going to talk about Freddie and Fannie, and then have a little bit of a Q&A at the end. For anybody that doesn't know us just yet, I'm Jerry Miles. That's Shelly. Once again, we own Adventure Commercial Capital. We specialize lending on commercial and investment real estate. We're real estate investors ourselves, have been for probably the last 10 years now. We were in the construction business and then got into real estate. Through that whole process, run into some real shady characters in the broker market, and that striked our interest in this business and things. And we happened upon a training group that set us up into business about 3 years ago. And I told my wife, I said, I think we could do a better job than these other guys that we've been working with. We can be honest and treat people fairly, and charge fair rates, and still make a good living at it, and have a good business. And so that's what we've done. We're still investors, and we still have our construction business, but Adventure Commercial Capital is our baby. So that's what we're really pushing, and that's the business of the future for us and our family. At this time, we've got all of our contact info up on the screen. So if you're able, do a screenshot. That's my phone number, personal line, my email, and Shelly's email up there. So take a screenshot or write it down or whatever you want to do there.
And Jerry, what can people contact you for, you guys?
To contact us, or what you contact us for, if you need a quote on debt, you have a question that's related to anything having to do with debt. I get a lot of calls, even, people just calling and asking, hey, will you look at this deal for me? I've got an assumable loan here. Does that look like a good deal? And, I've been able to help people in those ways. I've taken a lot of time helping people, and we don't get paid for those calls, but we get paid when we close loans. We don't take any upfront fees. We don't take consulting fees or anything like that. We get paid when business gets done and a loan gets closed. But anytime you need a quote on any type of commercial or investment real estate, we lend on everything from fix and flips, to big development projects. Today we're talking Freddie and Fannie in the multifamily space. Pretty much anything commercial real estate related that we lend on. So yeah,
Awesome.
I get calls all the time, just people wanting to chat about a deal or find out what we think about a deal and things like that, and that's perfectly fine. So
one of the big two things, right, for everybody, Jerry, is one is the accessibility to you, right? You guys are accessible,
yeah,
and this is something that we totally can vouch for, is you guys are just good people, and you don't always encounter that. So whatever Jerry's, I always take Jerry's word for Jerry's word, right? Super helpful. You never have the feeling, wonder who you do this for. You're just going to do this for you, or you're going to do this for everybody in the deal, right?
yeah,
So that's something I do want to point out. We met Jerry also in person, right? When was this now? A week and a half ago
yeah.
in Miami, and same feeling there, right? Total confirmation. So really excited to have him around.
I appreciate that, Marcel. But who are you? Like I said, Marcel has done a lot for us here, helping us out with these Zooms and the Freedom Chasers community. I know not everybody on the call knows who the Freedom Chasers are, but I did. I had got quite a bit of time with them when we was in Miami a week and a half ago, and had dinner with I think each one of them at some point or another while we was down there. We closed down the mall and had some Jamaican food together. Me and Marcel did. So, and got run off by security. But, but yeah. Do you want to go ahead and take some time to introduce the Freedom Chasers and who you guys are to people that might not know who you are on here?
Absolutely. And I know we have a bunch of Freedom Chasers already in the call, but for everybody that's outside of the Freedom Chasers, we're a community for people that are still within their W-2 world, right? Which is technically 99% of the people out there, including myself, including our core team, Trevor, Victor, myself. We're just trying to get quality people together on one platform. We have a Facebook group, 600 people strong now, strong people in there. We do a Sunday night Zoom where we bring in guests or teach. Jerry is doing amazing now, doing this debt extension here. So technically we can shut up talking about financing because Jerry is here and he's the expert anyways, right? So get it directly from the source. But we're really creating a platform for people that still are fully in the workforce, have a family, have kids, and navigate through those life's challenges and still want to be successful within multifamily. Like-minded people. I'm going to throw a link tree in the chat here. You guys are more than welcome to plug in. Everything is free. There's no upsell. There's no course whatsoever. This is just to get high quality people, like-minded people in the same room, on the same platform, and grow together.
Awesome. And also I know JJ is wanting to tell us about what he's been doing. This is my son JJ. He's 16 and he's been working and doing a lot of YouTube videos, and he just recently started doing finance videos. So I'll give him a chance to share what he's doing, and I'd like you guys to check out his channel as well and support him. So go ahead, JJ.
Hi, my name is JJ Miles. I'm 16 years old and I've started to make financial videos. I'll put the channel link in the chat, and you guys are going to want to stay tuned and turn on the notification bell and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting a video about Grant Cardone here soon, and you're going to want to see that. So yeah.
All right.
What's
cool.
your channel, JJ? Do you have a link?
Yep, right there in the
go.
chat.
Let's go. That one, dude. Love it.
All right, cool. All right. So
If there's someone else that would like to share, we can have room for one more.
yeah, anybody else wants to share, go ahead and throw up your hand. And
Share. This is your time to be seen, guys. Come on. If they don't know you, they can't flow you. That's from Grant Cardone, by the way.
Are you asking for anyone to share?
Yeah, just share, tell us who you are, and tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Oh, I always love talking about myself.
Yeah,
So,
good.
my name is Iffy. I'm sorry, my camera is off, but my name is Iffy. I'm physically located in Massachusetts. I am looking to be an owner operator of about 500 units within the next 12 to 18 months. Looking in the Sun Belt states right now, focusing on North Carolina and Georgia. And I'm happy to be here. I've been on so many multifamily Zooms today. I'm all zoomed out, but I'm so happy to be here.
We're good. Glad to have you.
Awesome. Thank you, Iffy.
Hi, I'm Alex. I don't know if you can see me.
Hey, yeah, we see you, Alex. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Hi, I'm here in Fort Lauderdale. I was also a week and a half in the Grant Cardone event.
Awesome.
What we're doing, our group right now is we are developing a 60-unit multifamily in Miami. So we're raising funds for the building. It's gonna be around 20 apartments are gonna be short-term rental. It's gonna be all the studios, and then it's gonna be 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. So that's kind of what we're doing. So I'm happy to be in this call, learn a little bit more of about you guys, because obviously there's gonna be lending involved in
Yeah.
construction, especially.
Awesome. Yeah. Put your info in the chat and yeah.
Yeah,
You never know who's in these calls. So
thank you.
all right. So we'll get started here with the current debt market. And you know, I put this song on here. I don't know who's going to know this song and who's going to relate to it, but Hank William Jr. or you know, also known as Bo Cephas, has a song, and I know there's somebody out there that knows the quote from that song that I'm talking about. But there's a quote in the song that says, "The interest is up and the stock market's down, and you only get mugged if you go downtown." And so he's talking about bad times, and you know, you know, the current debt market is going through some bad times. So you know, the rates have gone up like crazy. They're not, you know, anywhere close to where we you know, like the highs, you know, according to history. But when we've gone from 3.25 back in, you know, January, February to you know, an average rate of like 6.25 to 6.5, you know, right now, that just changes the way the way the market's working. You know, properties, I don't know, in your personal areas, more than likely are staying on the market longer. I know here in our area, you know, like single family homes and condos and those things are staying on the market a lot longer, and just not selling, you know, because affordability's been killed. Where you could have afforded $1 million mortgage, now you're like at $600,000, and so that's going to hurt things. And it also hurts things in the multifamily space where, you know, back at the beginning of the year, you know, your debt that you had to cover was, you know, maybe it was 300 grand, and now with the new rates, you know, we're up in 450 to 500,000 a year in debt, you know, to cover. So that's where you know, how it's changing the market, as far as, you know, the guy that was trying to sell at a 3 and 4 or 5 cap is going to be forced to sell at a higher cap rate, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, you know, who knows where it's going to go. You know, so, and as far as the rates, the question I get all the time is, hey, where do you think rates are going? You know, well, I don't really see rates coming back down. You know, go back to that last slide. I don't really see rates, you know, coming back down per se. You know, we're down from where they were in October, I know the prime rate or the Fed's rate has gone up, but the average mortgage rate has gone down because the spreads are getting tighter. Just trying to save affordability and things like that, and to sell mortgages. The mortgage business itself, some people are saying it's going to be 70% down. Others are saying 90% down as far as new originations over the last 3 to 4 months once the numbers come out. So that's going to change banking, as we have a lot of layoffs and things once these new numbers come out. So I don't say all that to say, hey, we need to run away from real estate like you might see on your local news channels. When they report these stories, they talk about how bad real estate is. I think real estate in these types of situations is probably still the best thing to put your money into and your time towards as far as investments. But just know that rates come up, rates go down, prices come up, prices go down. And we're just in one of these. I think still probably at the beginning of this downturn. Because the market really hasn't reacted all the way fully to what's going on in the interest rate arena. So, the lenders, if you talk to the lenders, they're really not changing their criteria for loans. They're not changing like loan to values. They're not changing those types of things. But what is changing is the way they're viewing the future. So if I've seen them recently to where they're not, like, when they're underwriting deals, they're not giving as much leeway to the idea that rents are going to go up. Where if you had a 4-year pro forma on a deal or whatever, and you were looking at rates going up maybe 3 to 7%, in that next 4 years, the banks are kind of looking at it now and saying, I don't think so. And so they're kind of viewing things a little differently in those ways. The secondary market is kind of away from the agency financing that we're going to be talking about today. And so I'll kind of hit on that a little bit. The single family rental market, and then the secondary market, like properties that don't qualify for agency financing or your regular bank financing. Where our agency financing has gone from like 3 to 6, the secondary market's gone from like 6 to 10 to 12. So it's on the riskier loans, the secondary market is generally the riskier loans. They're pricing that in, that's more risky. So just know that coming in when you're looking at deals. Maybe it's not the nicest area. Maybe it's an Airbnb property. The banks aren't liking those a whole lot right now, just because there's a lot of things working against the Airbnb market as far as different cities and things trying to come against them. And then you have when we have these layoffs and things next year that people are expecting, are people going to be able to travel the way they were traveling before. So those are the kind of things that the banks are looking at when they're looking at deals. The next couple slides here, you can go ahead and move to them. This first one be another time for you guys to kind of take a screenshot or take a picture of this. This is Freddie and Fannie the small loan balance sheet, kind of a cut sheet on where rates are. So you can see the small balance on the Freddie side is 1.5 million to 7.5 million. And this is not purchase price of properties. This is the actual loan amount. So it could be a $12 million property that you're borrowing 7 million on, or a $10 million property you're borrowing 7 million on. And so that'll bring you to that small balance loan. And it has the 80% LTV at a 1.2 debt service. And you see as the debt service gets better and the loan to value gets lower, your rates get a little better. And then the same with the Fannie, the $2 to $6 million range is for the Fannie. So
Is primary and secondary reflected in this at all, Jerry?
as far as like in the market,
Yeah, because you mentioned something a moment ago, the rates are in the 10 to 12% for secondary markets. Is that what I heard?
well, that's the second. I don't mean like the physical locations. I mean the secondary loan market, loans that don't qualify for agency debt. So
Perfect.
you'll have loans that don't qualify for agency debt. You're going to be 10 to 12% on those properties on those loans. So
Very good. Thank you.
yep. So go ahead and go to the next one there. So this is your conventional, 6 million plus on the Fannie and 7.5 million on Freddie plus. And you see your debt service as the loan to value gets, better, the debt service gets better, the rates go down. You also get breaks on agency debt for, it's kind of funny because they give you better rates when you get the nicer properties and the higher payments from tenants and the A assets and things, but then you also get better rates when you are also doing kind of low income housing. So if you have Section 8 and HUD and things like that, they're involved. Where you have some government assistance and things like that, that'll help you, and you can bump the rates down a little bit with those as well. So take a screenshot of that one. Go ahead and move on there. So the main topic, we'll move on to agency financing. So the question is, why do we want to use Fannie and Freddie to fund multifamily? And here's some of the reasons for that. Your rates are generally lower, even lower than a lot of times than the bank rates. You're going to be 1 to 2% lower in general. I mean, there's always exceptions. There's when you're looking at the world of commercial finance, there's a lot of different products out there. There's a lot of different credit unions and banks, and every one of them views things in different lens. So when I'm talking about, generally, it's just generally, you're going to find a local bank somewhere that might beat rates from Freddie and Fannie. But I would be surprised if all the terms and things are as good as Freddie and Fannie's. Freddie and Fannie, a big reason why people like them is they're non-recourse, meaning they won't come after you personally if something bad happens and you default on a loan. They say non-recourse, and it is non-recourse unless they call it a bad boy carve out or a bad boy clause. If there's some fraud or something like that they find, and the fraud might just be as simple as you not managing a property well, it's just, they're going to find anything they can to come after you. And no, it's not exclusive to Fannie and Freddie, but it is general with Fannie and Freddie is always non-recourse, and the banks are not always non-recourse. So with the Freddie and Fannie, you get longer periods, longer term. With the small loan balance, you can get up to a 30-year fixed rate with the small balance loans. You don't get that option with the conventional program, over 7 and over 6 million. Generally, those will top out at like 10 years. Then they'll end up to 80% loan to value on purchases, And then on cash out refis, they'll give you 75% on a loan to value. You know, when we look at the 80 and the 75% loan to value, don't expect that it's always going to be 80% loan to value. These are always, you know, going to be stopped. Well, not always, but a lot of times going to be stopped by the debt service or the debt service coverage ratio, which is DSCR. You see on the next part down there. And so that is just a multiple that's used to you know, gauge how well you can cover the debt. So if you have $1,000 in debt payments, you need to have your money coming in at 1,200. So it just 1.2, and you need to have, you know, 20% more there to play with, or in cash flow after the debt payments are made. So, but if you can get 80% loan to value and have the DSCR working out well, then at a 1.2 or better, then yes, you can get up to 80% loan to value. So then move on to the next one. So on the agency debt, this in some ways is one of the downfalls, and one reason people might not go for Freddie and Fannie is the net worth requirement when you're looking at borrowers. So you know, the net worth of the borrowers need to be equal or greater than the loan amount. So if you have 3 people that are partnering on a deal, those 3 people can qualify, one independently of the others, or combined, the net worth needs to be equal to or greater than the loan amount. You know, there's other programs out there. I've learned of a CMBS program that we have available recently that there isn't a net worth requirement, but you know, you're not going to get as good of terms. You're going to be a few more points. You know, CMBS is commercial backed. It's a commercial mortgage backed security. So it's a loan coming from Wall Street, pretty much. So you know, 10% liquidity the borrowers need to have. You know, on you know, with the 10% liquidity on refis, that 10% liquidity needs to be there before the closing, and on purchases it needs to be there after the closing or post closing. So once you get done closing a loan, you know, maybe you've just put down $3 million, you still need to have that 10% liquidity there after that closes. This is one thing. We were at the real estate summit with Grant Cardone, and he talks about, oh, well, they don't ever ask for my credit score. They've never asked for my credit score, those types of things. If you're going after agency debt, they're going to look at your credit score. It's just the way it is. They need to be 660 or over, all the partners on the deal. Now there is exceptions. Just on everything when it comes to the agency debt, there's exceptions. So if you can show a good reason why maybe your credit score is low, or if you have a really good DSCR, a lower loan to value, those types of things, they're going to overlook some credit deficiencies. But you know, at this level that most of us are playing at, we still need to maintain a good credit score to be able to qualify for debt on these deals. Go ahead, Marcel. I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, and I think this is very interesting that you bring that up, right? Because even myself, and I just put that in the chat as well, actually, like 2 minutes ago, I've always been told, you know, on agency that actually it's never about the individual. I mean, obviously you have to meet certain requirements as an operator, right? Like to guarantee or whatever, like requirements in terms of experience, like assets under management, net worth, whatsoever. But never knew, and always have been told like, oh yeah, you as a person is kind of irrelevant. Your income is irrelevant, right? Your credit score is irrelevant. So this is actually a great point that you bring up here, and that many people, including myself, you know, probably don't know, is that a credit score is important. And what's even more important is, you know, when people start having a team, right, and you have numerous operators in the general partnership, I mean, it really matters if one of these dudes, you know, that might be just or girls, right, whatever the female word for dude is, has like a duties or something like that, has like a bad credit worthiness, right, a bad credit score, something like that, that can like ruin
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, that can hurt. And like I said, it's always you know, agency debt, a lot of the rules can be fluid and it can move. You know, and when they put that 660 requirement on there, a lot of times it is just to make sure that, you know, yeah, they want to look at it, make sure that there's no bad things on your debt or on your credit, those types of things. So, but yeah,
Well,
I see Andrea. Go ahead, Andrea.
Yeah, I was going to ping off what Marcel said. The general, when you say borrower, can you be a little bit more specific? Would that be the key principal borrower, or
Yep.
would that be the actual? I mean, I've seen borrowers be nonprofits and just LLCs in general. But can you clarify what that? And also
Yeah.
just liquidity requirements in terms of how many months of reserves they would need.
Yeah, generally the liquidity is 10% of the loan amount. So whatever the loan amount is, they would need 10% liquidity there after closing or pre-closing if you're doing a refi. Yeah, and we're looking at the key principal, or if you have multiple GPs or whatever it is on the deal that are, you know, they're looking at one or three or whatever it is that are qualifying for that loan. Whoever it is, it's the qualifying person, because, you know, behind every LLC, there's that one person that is standing up and they're the top dog, you know, and they're the ones that can sign for the debt and they're the ones that can do these things. So if that's between three people, you know, they're all going to have to qualify with these criteria. If that's just one person, that one person needs to qualify with that criteria. So, but like I said, it's if you've got a really good deal, you know, Grant always says, if you find the right deal, you can get the debt. And, you know, that's true, you know, barring, you know, some craziness in your history or something like that, or whatever. But I mean, there's always going to be somebody that, if you have a really good deal, that can help you qualify for the debt or whatever, you know, and pull you off the front end and put you somewhere else, you know. So.
and Jerry, I think
Yeah.
it's important for people also to know, right? I mean, this can be very scary, right? When you're like going into multifamily and you're like, oh my God, I don't have 10% liquidity of $10 million, right?
Yeah.
And you, like you said, right, you don't have to. That's why you have these key principals, grantors, right? That you can bring strategic partners to the deal that do just that for you, right?
Yeah.
To be that guy. And secondly, I was visiting a brokerage yesterday, and exactly what you said. They told me that in the last 3 months, all the loans that they had going through Freddie and Fannie, none of them actually have 100% fit into their requirement box. Not a single one. You know? They said there's always at least one criteria, you know, that kind of didn't fit the box, but because the deal was a deal, they got it done. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting, right? Because when you talk about government, right, you think like it's like black and white, right?
Yeah.
Or agency. Let's put it this way: agency. You think black and white, right? But it is really kind of gray, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. And you know, yeah, when you're yeah, that's exactly right. It really is gray. Um but I lost what I was going to say. When you were talking, I was like, man, yeah, and I just lost it. So um but yeah, you know, with these requirements, you know, the borrower, the key principal, or whoever it is, that's the one that has to qualify for qualify, and they look at these things. So, but yeah, go ahead and change the slide there. So the asset requirements, like I said before, it's really fluid, but I'll kind of run through these here a little bit. The occupancy for agency debt, generally 90% or higher for a minimum of 3 months. Properties, need to be in strong markets to get their best rates and terms. When we're talking strong, markets, I'm talking, big metropolitan areas, places that have a lot of employment. When you have a lot of employment around, there's less risk to the lenders. That's one of our biggest calls I get is from people wanting debt, and they're wanting to buy a property, and they've got a great deal. And our biggest thing that is a turn down on deals is the location. Multiple calls a week that we just, they call and the property's out in the middle of nowhere, and we just, nothing we can do with it. We don't have any lenders that'll lend on those properties. And so being in the, go ahead and go back to the last slide. Being back in the, being in the strong metropolitan areas and things are you're going to get your best rates and terms and those types of things. So back the other way. There we go. Oh, right there. So
My thing got stuck.
with agency debt, they're going to inspect the properties. You're not going to be able to qualify the properties with a lot of maintenance needs. I hit multiple employers in a market. Student housing. The banks and the lenders are looking at student housing differently now since COVID. You really need to be in a top tier at a top tier university. Here in our area, that would be like University of Cincinnati or University of Kentucky. Not one of the secondary smaller state colleges. If you're around a military base or any single employer like that, really the property needs to have, the tenants need to be less than that, or that employer needs to have less than 40% of the hold on the property. In general terms. And Airbnb is another thing. A lot of people are doing Airbnb in their apartment complexes, and to qualify for agency debt, you really need to be less than 10%. Airbnb. When we're looking at getting you funded, just those are things that make a deal more. More shaky as far as the stability and things of it. So you can go on to the next slide. And this one here, when you contact me and you're looking to get a debt quote, these are the things that I'm going to need. I will need all of them right off the bat. I know a lot of people, if you're part of Grant Cardone's Real Estate Club, or if you're in, the Freedom Chasers, you have access to, sponsors on deals. That's a big thing. I'm in a Grant Cardone's Real Estate Club. If we find a good deal, we bring it to the club. There's, 20 people in there that are capable of sponsoring a deal for you. And when people come to me from the club and from these groups and things that we're in, I know that you have the access to people like that. And so right off the bat, I'm not going to ask for your schedule of real estate owned or your personal financial statement to qualify you individually. Because I know where you're at, I know that you have access to it. If it's a good deal, we can get that done for you. But the things I need right off the bat, T12 or a trailing 12. If they don't have a trailing 12, maybe it's a new build, to qualify for, excuse me, qualify for agency debt, we're going to need, a T3 or more to be able to, and it needs to be T3 with 90% occupied or more, for 3 months. So rent roll, an OM if you have it, that helps us just be able to see the deal better. And then a summary of what you plan to do with the property. Type us up something, in a message, just tell us what your thoughts are on it, and those types of things. If you do your own underwriting, you have your own pro forma and things worked up, feel free to send that over to us as well. So, but those, when you come to me for a quote, I went to run to the bank and pick up pizza here for dinner a little while ago, and I had somebody call me on the phone, and they said, "Hey, what can you lend on a property with a $2 million NOI?" And so while I'm driving, I was like, really, there's a lot more to it than just knowing the NOI and that kind of thing, but I was able to kind of give him a little bit of a ballpark on what, debt would look like, with $2 million in NOI and things over the phone. But that's generally not the way that we do it. I don't want to, have anybody hold my feet to the fire on something like that. But, just so he could get a quick underwriting done, I was able to help him a little bit just from looking at a lot of them. But those right there, and you can take a picture of that one as well. Just people call me all the time for quotes and they want to know, what do I need? This right here is what I need. So anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand. I'm not looking at the chat, so if somebody can help me with questions from the chat.
Yeah, we can, if you want to raise your hand, that would be great, and we can call on you in order. And if I have a chance, I'll read some from the chat.
Okay. All right. Hey, there he is. I see Dr. Charles.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, how
Sorry.
are you?
Late, man. I'm a little under the weather
Oh,
with,
man.
but I really liked how you hit on location is key and getting better rates for Fannie and Freddie. And that's just something I want to make sure everyone realizes is location is one of the number one things. First, you find the deal and just make sure it's in a good location. That's the only thing statement I want to make. But thank you for putting this on.
Yeah. Hope you feel better, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good, Andrea. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
Whichever way, Andrea.
Andrea, okay.
I had more of a question on that, the initial discussion about the GP side.
Yeah.
For requirements to show, because when I'm working with these high net worth individuals, there's questions that we ask on the front end to see if they qualify to be a sponsor on our deal. But you require an REO schedule that shows that they've had prior experience as well. Like, do we also need to submit an initial pro forma?
Like pro forma of the property? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that helps me to see, not everybody does those, but it helps me, initially to see what we're looking at. Once we get into things and we start really getting into getting the property, getting everything done, you get a contract, you're going to need to have that kind of stuff together. But for an initial quote, I don't have to have that. But, it lets us know, when somebody sends us a deal, that they've sat and they've taken the time to do the pro forma themselves and all that, that they're serious, that they're not just kind of like writing on the back of the napkin and then throwing it over my way. Hey, here's what we got, just, it lets us know that you've taken some time, you like the deal, you've spent some time with the deal, you've crunched the numbers and you know what you got going on. So, and that helps us. And, when we see that, we spend more time on the deal as well. So.
Great. And I also had a question about debt service coverage.
Yeah.
When I saw a screenshot of that, the rates along with service coverage, can you elaborate a little bit more as to why, if there's more debt service, meaning we're cover more, why the LTV is lower, why it keeps lowering? Can you?
Well, it's if they go together. On that scale, it's just, you know, if your debt service is lower and your LTV is lower, you're going to get better rates. So if your debt service is high, or, you know, is better, and your loan to value is lower, or, you know, or one is better and the other one's not, you know, you're going to kind of keep the same rates. But if they both kind of go together, where your debt service is looking better and your loan to value is getting better, or less leverage, the rates are going to be better as well. So.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. John Medley, how are you, sir? Oh, I saw he had a question and he disappeared. If you're there, John, go ahead and ask the question. All right. Wes, I see your hand up.
Hey, Jerry, I just had a question about the military statement that you said. I believe it was a few slides ago. It said military must be below 40%. Is that the building, like the unit occupancy? There can't be 40% more occupants that are in the military?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you got a property that's close to a base, and, you know, some of these properties are, you know, might be 80–90% military, the agencies don't like that.
And why don't they like that?
If something happens to that location or that base, you know, maybe they decide to move the business that goes on there. They decide to move it somewhere. That business at that base, this, you know, just shuts down, or whatever it is. You know, each base has its own thing that they do. You know, if something happens to that base where it kind of dwindles the numbers and things, then you're gonna the occupancy is really going to be hurt. You know.
Okay. And that's the same with a single employer, right? You said that as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have, you know, people that come with like master leases, you know, where a company will lease the whole property for their business. And the agencies won't touch them as well. So.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Ratan. Is it Ratan? Is that how you say it?
Yes, that's correct. Good evening. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I know there's no typical scenario, but can I just throw something out and then ask you about fees and costs on something like that?
Yeah.
So let's say it's a $2 million purchase. And let's say somebody has, you know, half a million down, so they got 25% down.
Yeah.
And they're going to finance 75%. Debt service ratio is good, credit is good, and net worth is, you know, matches the loan amount. Yeah. And they have liquidity. Besides the rate, what kind of rates? I mean, what kind of fees and points and things like that would be typical?
Yeah, well, you'll have, you know, your initial cost of appraisals. You know, they're going to have, you know, depending on the property location and different things, you might have environmental reports you got to pay for, those types of things. You know, from us as a broker, our fees are part of the closing costs. You know, your total closing costs generally, you know, the larger deals, the percentages are less. You know, but anywhere from, you know, when you figure in all of the appraisals and all the fees and everything, figure 5% for everything is generally safe. So does that help? Okay, good. Good. All right. I see John Medley back. Go ahead,
Get unmuted a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the time we get all of the paperwork to you, and we're on a deal, we submit the paperwork.
Yeah.
How long before you give us a confirmation after you have everything that you need?
That is, sometimes deal dependent. When we're talking about agency debt, I can give you a really good idea in a ballpark, within a few hours generally. If it's something that I need to shop around, if it doesn't qualify for agency debt, give me a couple days. Um, you know, but generally, like if it's an apartment complex, it's straightforward. I can get you some numbers back pretty quick.
Talking about the sellers now, they want to know, short fuses now, and you can't go in without confirmation.
Oh, like you're talking to some sellers now on a deal like that.
But Grant said that the sellers' fuses are getting smaller now. You have shorter times to get your deal together from the time you put in either your LOI or your contract. That before your money gets hard, you need to have your money confirmed before you get that.
Yeah, and right now in today's market, I mean, you're going to have times where the sellers have a lot of interest in the properties, but generally, I've not been seeing people lately that are going hard on deals, for the first 45 days. And because we're changing from where it has been a seller's market for so long, and the buyers just had to kind of bow down to the sellers and worship them to get a deal done. Now we're looking at where the buyers are kind of controlling the process now. So if you're going in, I mean, I just don't know that I would go into a deal. I mean, you're going to have times where there's a property that's really got a lot of traffic around it and a lot of people going after it. But in general, a general rule right now, I would say that most of these deals, they're having to beg people to put offers in, and they're not getting offers of what they need.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to talk with you again.
Yeah, you too, John. Good to see you, or good to hear from you.
Hey guys, I just want to say we usually try to keep it at 60 minutes, but since we have more questions, we'll go 10 more minutes answering questions. So go ahead, Jerry.
All right, Latasha.
Hello. Okay. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. My voice is gone, but I'm gonna make it quick. My question was for agency debt or Fannie Mae or Freddie, what's the minimum loan amount? To be able to qualify. Like, say, because I have something that's like 500,000, or is it like $1 million to?
Yeah. The lowest amount through
Yeah.
Fannie, they list as 2 million. Through Freddie is 1.5 million, and that's loan amounts. That's not purchase amount.
Okay.
And but like we'd said before, it's all fluid. I don't push it, and I'm a broker. We're a brokerage. We don't lend our own money. We have relationships directly to the money sources, and so I've got several different lenders that I go directly to that are direct with Fannie and Freddie, and so I know that some of them have done deals for less than 1.5 million. Like I said before, it's fluid. They look at every deal by it and judge it for what it is. So, I mean, it is possible to go a little bit below the 1.5 million, but I don't really push those parameters with my lenders. If it doesn't come up to the 1.5 million, I have other lenders I'll take it to.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Jerry, go ahead and speak on that for about a minute about how what type of lenders we use, private lenders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we use the agency financing. Like I said, we've got 3 different ones we go to. One of them does just a small balance, Freddie and Fannie. The others do small balance and the bigger balance loans through Freddie and Fannie. And if I go to one of them and I don't like their deal they're giving us, I go to the other one. I don't, we're partners with our lenders, but we're also partners with our borrowers. So we try to play that line to where, we want the borrowers to be treated right. I mean, that's why we're in this business, because and we started this business because we were borrowers that weren't being treated right by brokers. And so we'll do what we can for our borrowers to make sure that that we're getting the best deals for you. But we're also going to do what we can on the side with our lenders, because those are our partners as well. And we have to treat their business good and bring good deals to them. So if they have their criteria out there and it doesn't fit their criteria, I don't bring them deals and show them deals that don't fit their criteria, because I don't want to waste their time. So, but we have hard money lenders that we deal with bridge, from anything from your little small fix and flips to, we have, I got bridge lenders that'll go up to $1 billion. And we have our agency financing. We got bank financing. Excuse me. So we're I like to think that we're it's good to go to us, because if you go to a bank or you go to one of these agency lenders that's all they do is agency debt, and it doesn't fit that mold, well, now you've got to turn around and you got to call us. So if you call us first, we'll take it to the agencies, we'll take it, and if it doesn't qualify, we already have your information, we take it to somebody else. So but yeah, that's a little bit about how we operate and how we work. So go ahead, Wes.
A little bit of a side question, so I do apologize. It's not
Yeah.
related to Fannie or Freddie Mac loans. But you mentioned going hard in a deal. At what point do you go hard in a deal, and like when does that come up?
Well, I mean, a while back, I mean, back before the market started turning and things, there was, people before there was people that would go hard, right off the bat. But generally, like if I'm putting a deal in or an offer in on a property, I'm not going to go hard until I've got 30 days to, 30 days to do some due diligence and things on it.
And it's going hard on a deal just essentially to show that you are a real buyer and you have the ability to close this. Is that what it is? Just give confidence to the seller?
Yep. And so when you go hard, I mean, you're putting down, in some cases, I've seen guys put 100,000 down. I mean, they'll put $1 million down sometimes. And that money, might not be refundable. So.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Greg, what's the maximum amount loan you're comfortable with?
Maximum loan amount, as far as like how high can we go?
Yeah.
We don't really have a top. We have one of our lending partners just closed a $2.2 billion development deal.
Probably cover anything I got, won't it?
I'm sorry.
So that'll probably cover everything I got, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have any top, and our lenders don't as well. So right now, yeah, right now our broker, we're a brokerage. We've been in business 3 years. We're building new relationships with the lenders every day, and we're building new relationships with borrowers. I mean, that's why we have these Zooms to help educate borrowers, but it also helps us build relationships with borrowers as well. So we hope all of you all will eventually be borrowers and do business with us. But that's why we do these Zooms, so we can build that part of our business. And I go to lending conferences and I'm on the phone all the time with new lenders trying to build that part of our business as well. So we got more more places to take your guys' deals to, and to 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 be able to serve you guys better as well. But in the future, we plan to raise our own money and to have our own fund that we lend out of as well. As of right now, not sure what we'll be lending on. Every lender has their own specific things they lend on. And as we progress and move, and we see where the market is kind of needing more funding, that's where we'll probably end up lending as we build our own fund and things like that to lend out of. So
Great. I meant to have my picture up there, but I can't get the screen to put my picture up. So you have to see me next week.
yeah, sounds good. We'll be 2 weeks. What was the date, Ben, that you said?
The 11th of January.
The 11th of January. We'll see you then, John.
All right, thank you.
And I guess I'm done. We'll say Happy New Year to everybody. And I hope you all had a great Christmas and things, and enjoy the time with your family. And let's go get after it here in the new year, and buy some deals and get some business done. So
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. I just gave Marcel.
and once again, I'd like to say thanks to Marcel. Last time we did one of these, we didn't have slides or anything. I was up here talking. It's kind of boring, but Marcel's added a lot, and the Freedom Chasers community adds a lot, as far as their education they're putting out, and just the community of like-minded individuals and things as well. So if you guys aren't a part of that community, I'd recommend and encourage you to reach out and become a part of it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think he shared his Facebook his link on the chat.
great.
Hey,
I'll
Jerry.
throw it in here one more time, guys. But this is, you guys are,
God damn it.
it's not about us, right? You guys are the ones that provide value. We're just creating a platform and connecting people, right? That's like, you guys are the bomb. Seriously. I hope, and I want to ask everybody, I know we had some people jump off already, but everybody that's still here, guys, if you guys thought this was valuable, right, and you learned something here today, throw some emojis in the chat. I hate calling it only fires, but throw some emojis in the chat. Show Jerry and Shelly that they are spending their time well here, right? Because it's also time out of their day, out of their evening, week. This is usually the time, just like you guys also, that you spend time with your family, right? So and they put that time in here as well for you guys. For this community, for the 10X community, right? So throw that in here to show your appreciation. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna have to throw some stuff in here too, because you know what? I learned today as well. As always, every time when I speak to Jerry and Shelly, I learn something too. And guys, one question I have for everybody here still is, in 2 weeks, Jerry and Shelly are coming back. And it will always follow the same cadence here, right? We're gonna jump in. We're gonna play some music here, of course, get the room rallied up a little bit, share where people are from, get them the opportunity to connect. But also to have Jerry give an update, right, about the debt market, where it stands, because in 2 weeks, a lot can change, right? A lot can change in 2 weeks. So Jerry and Shil will update you on that. Additionally, give you the chance in another stage, another platform to introduce yourself, which is huge, right? It's about getting known. So tell people who you are, show your face. Last but not least, they'll always educate you, just like they did today, for about 20, 25 minutes about a specific topic related to commercial lending. Today was agency debt. What do you guys, throw something in the chat here? What is something that you guys want to know more about agents, about commercial lending moving forward? I know Jerry and Shelly have a bunch of topics already in the backlog that they want to talk about, that they can talk about. But if you guys have something specific, where you guys are, this is what I need to know right now, this is the chance to throw it in there. If there isn't, no big deal, because they have a bunch in storage, as I mentioned. But this is the chance to bring that up. And last but not least, guys, I'd also like to encourage you guys to throw, and whoever is in our Facebook community here from the Freedom Chasers, take a picture of this Zoom, right? Showcase it in the group, do it for the community. We had like 45 people on here tonight. We should have 100 people on here. We should have 100 people in this Zoom to really get this secret sauce, I almost like to call it, from Jerry. I know a bunch of people are probably still in the boot camp with Carlos, which is amazing, and that's what we encourage people to do. But let's get more people in this room. Let's get more people take advantage really of the value that Jerry and Shirley are providing here. So let's throw that in there. Elizabeth is asking a great question. Can we watch the replay? Yes, this is recorded, right? So Jerry and Shirley, actually, you know what? I know you guys are posting this, but let's also post this on our Freedom Chasers YouTube channel. Let's create a playlist for you guys on there as well. So that's easy access for everyone from the Freedom Chasers side. And guys, really push these guys out there. Do them a favor as well. Talk about this. But with that being said, I'm going to shut up again because otherwise I'm just talking about Jerry and Shelley all night. So let's throw on some music. Jerry and Shelley, anything else that I missed?
No. You know, we're ready to go here. I'm ready for the new year. I don't even need a party. I'm ready to just go, you know.
Yeah, thank you, Marcel. Oh my gosh, Marcel, you helped us so much.
Let's go. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's go, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Let's keep it crushing.
4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Them old mistakes are gone, I won't do them no more. That's old news, there's new news, I done did that before. I turn nothing to something, my comeback on 100. Let's talk it, more action, you just gon' see coming. I just keep elevating, no losses, just upgrading. My lessons made blessings, I turn that into money. They gotta never settle, this view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me, I stay prayed up, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Fake friends get dropped like weight. Team love don't want no hate. I'm grinding, I'm shining, up, I'm on my way. They gotta never settle, this view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all